Welcome, everybody. Good morning, and welcome to the Flipping Made Easy studio right here in Matawan, New Jersey for the Chop Sports Daily with Sturch and Gooch. And, of course, Dina producing, Ash in the house as well. Happy Super Bowl hangover. Happy Valentine's Day to all you lovers and lovies and whatever. I mean, if you're into it, great. But I'm sure it's like not really a Valentine's Day. It's a Hallmark holiday. I'll stand by that. First and foremost, right to the chat. Mark, good morning. Patrick, good morning. Congrats, bro. Big winner, or one of the big winners of the Super Bowl pool. Great halftime show, we sang. I agree with that, but we'll get into that in a minute. First and foremost, if you guys are watching this right now on YouTube, which, by the way, I do not have the live count anymore, so that's a different thing that I can't see with this new system we have.
This whole thing is unnerving to me. I already tried to do something that I typically am able to do, but I'm not right now.
Yeah, we're gonna try. We're leaving all the faith in Dina right now, as she is really going to be producing this show going forward, because we got a 37-foot wire from Hardwired in, and that looks stretched out to hell. Oh my God, I'm looking at it right now. It's very, very nerve-wracking over there, as that doesn't matter. Anyway, you're watching this video, please do me a favor before Ashley murders you. Like it right now. Like the video. Subscribe to the network. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to everything Chop Sports related. Also, if you want to support us, be sure to go over to patreon.com/Chop Sports. $3, $5, $10. Or I want to also thank everybody who participated in the $50 and $25 box pool. You've all graciously tipped out Chop Sports so far, and we thank you for that. So that's helps us out, helps keep the lights on, literally and figuratively, in Chop Studios over here in Matawan. So thank you for that. And of course, we want to also talk to you guys real quick about Dat Chat. Go over to Dat Chat right now. Join the Facebook group. Brand new method of social media, which, by the way, I don't know about you, Gooch, but I'm getting friend requests from plenty of bots that are saying, want to sex? Yes, now? And I'm like, yep, let's do it.
And this is on Dat Chat?
It's on Dat Chat. So they exist everywhere. I get it on Instagram all the time. It's just like, you are now being followed by like, Booty Cheeks 37,424. And I'm just like, nice, right?
And then you can see like the mutual friends, and it's like three of your creepiest
friends
that you know.
Right. Dude, I've seen that before. I'm like, and in my head, I'm like, wow, those suckers got duped. That sucks. Like that really sucks that you actually said yes to this. But anyway, Dat Chat, go check that out. Also, Lilac and Sage, you're going to be hearing a commercial today on the podcast forum. I want to thank those guys for coming on as a sponsor. It's a women's boutique, which, by the way, I learned what a boutique was over the weekend. It's not your typical store. It's like they have like a certain amount of things, and then once they sell out, they replace it with something else, and it's all like relatively cheap stuff. So you can actually go over there and actually put in the promo code CHOP10, and you'll get 10% off your bill, which already is a small bill. So we actually made Dina her commercial debut. So you'll hear that on the podcast forum. She teamed up with me, and we got that done. Also, starting next week, we'll have the official reads in front of us. It's going to get real official around here, but we have been accepted, and we have agreed to terms with Manscaped. So there's going to be a massive...
I'm waiting on my package.
Bro. I know, literally and figuratively.
No. I'm not. Well,
you have your package. Now you're waiting on a new package. They're sending us products. They're sending us shirts and boxers and all that stuff, so we can generally actually feel the perfect... whatever the hell they're sending us. So we're excited about that. Manscaped.
I'm talking about the trimmer. We're getting a trimmer. Right?
Oh, we're getting everything.
A trimmer, body wash.
I'm
shampoo,
good on like
boxers,
I'll take boxers.
T-shirt.
I'll take all that stuff. But I want
you're getting the lawn. I think the lawnmower 4.0 is what they're calling it.
Oh, really? So we got the upgraded.
I think so. So let's wait and find out. We'll get that this week more than likely, and next week starts the official partnership between Chop Sports and Manscaped. So we want to thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow. No, we have ourselves a heck of a show lined up, because we are now in the most depressing day of the year, and that's the official end of the football season. The Super Bowl has come and gone. The Los Angeles Rams are the Super Bowl 56 champions. Congratulations to them. Congratulations to all the players, the coaches. We'll get into all the storylines, but overall, Gooch, did you enjoy the game? Like
I did.
The game itself.
I didn't have any stress during the game.
That was another nice
zero
thing.
bets. I knew my Super Bowl numbers were terrible, so I wasn't even looking ahead to winning anything there. And yeah, I just had no skin in the game whatsoever. I like Joe Burrow. I was predicting the Matthew Stafford thing, so I would have been happy either way, either being right or being wrong and Burrow getting the dub. So it was a good game overall.
I enjoyed it.
Halftime show, I think.
You want to get right into the halftime
I think we
show?
should, because that's what the buzz is about in the comment section early. I wasn't really like I don't think it was the best halftime
No.
show by any stretch
No.
of the imagination.
I thought it was fantastic for what it was.
I think that the biggest disappointment of the whole show was, and I'm not talking about 50 Cent being fat now. I'm talking about just
He's now refer to him as a full dollar.
no, he's
He's a silver dollar.
like gained about a quarter. I
Okay.
wouldn't put him
So
as
he's around 75
full
cents
dollar. He's like
ish.
about 75
All
cents.
right.
But it wasn't that they brought 50 out as the surprise guest, which was cool. You know, everybody loves their 50 Cent, and but they made it seem like they were about to drop a Tupac hologram on the stage, and they failed to do that. And I think that was the big takeaway for me was they dropped a couple Tupac beats in there. They had California Love. It would have been nice to see them bring out the whole Coachella hologram.
They definitely got the money
Tupac out
for it,
there.
so it's not like
I mean,
they definitely have the money. It's Dre. Dre owns the world at this point. But I will say this. As an Eminem fan and one of the stans of Eminem, right, from way back when and all the way through his career, the fact that they only gave him one song, like that was kind of, and that song, like they
left a lot on the table. We'll just say that. We'll just say that. And honestly, after the halftime show, it looked like Matthew Stafford was right back in Detroit because as soon as they came out in the second half, he was playing Detroit Lion football right away in the third quarter.
I got a question coming up here. Anthony G, thoughts on The Rock? Look, I am a very big fan of The Rock, right? Everything he touches turns to gold. He's a movie star. He's got everything, the brand, the Under Armour, everything, right? That was by far the worst thing I've ever seen him do. Like that was the corniest. And I love The Rock. Like I'm a big fan of every movie.
I've been off The Rock for a while.
I just Tommy D said Tupac was at the top of the stadium. I don't recall that at all. Was I not watching the right game or
I didn't
see that at all. So maybe he's just making a joke. But anyway, back to The Rock for a second. His whole first of all, the teams are on the field. The kickoff is about to happen. You can tell the players are getting restless. And he's like, okay, finally, right? And he's doing. I'm like, okay, first of all, thank God you didn't pause at your millions because I don't know if you know this, but during his classic promo days, he would say, and the millions, and he would pause, and the rest of the crowd would say, and millions. But he did it himself because he knew that if you weren't a wrestling fan, it was going to be silent. There's not going to be anybody
I'm like, what are you
responding.
even talking about? I understand now that you said it, but
he said and the millions of fans, he rolled right into it
already. I'm tired of hearing Rock having to either co-sign what somebody said in the public or Rock supports this guy. No, Rock is not a fucking politician. He's an actor and a wrestler. Enough is enough with The Rock.
Chris Payne, The Rock is the new Samuel L. Jackson, never turns down a role. I mean, that is legit. That's perfect, Payne. Good job on that. That was actually really funny because
also, what was Mary J. Blige doing out there?
Calisthenics.
Yeah. When she fell at the end, I don't think that was in the act. Did you see her fall back on her back?
I said it the whole time I'm watching. She's gonna fall.
I'm pretty sure she just fell.
She is old.
God bless her for
she's
wearing
old.
that.
You know, she's dating Sterling Shepard.
Is she really?
Yeah, he's 26.
I mean, he hasn't been relevant since the boat picture, but I would say that the halftime show, The Rock, was he
relevant even in the boat picture?
No, I don't think so. I mean, he was in the back with a blunt in his hand. Nobody wanted to talk about that. But anyway,
I find no issues there.
She was having a heart attack. She couldn't breathe when she had to sing. So yeah, another thing, I could tell that everybody actually sang. So you could tell that there was no lipping going on. I think it was a legitimate performance out of everybody. Dre, first of all, hasn't aged one bit. Looks great. I think Dre looks great.
I think they all looked like they were 150 years old.
Yeah.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
No, I think Dre looked great, bro. I think the only one. Eminem looked obviously weird with the best
thing about the entire halftime show.
Kendrick Lamar
by far to me, Kendrick Lamar's act, he was just outshined by bigger stars. But Kendrick Lamar doesn't suck.
His performance sucked.
50s was worse. But the fact that they had Snoop Dogg full bandanaed out, right? He was actually wearing a bandana, right? A blue bandana. That was his outfit with the gang sign markings on it.
So he was cripping it out.
And he was crip walking on the national stage, international stage at the Super Bowl halftime show. You got Snoop Dogg crip walking. And pretty much the entire dancers they were all crip walking. So it's that's how far we've come. But at least Snoop isn't a gangbanger because
I think
in the halftime show commercial, they had Snoop as the new Howard Stern for the next top song or the next hit song. So Snoop officially sold out.
Yeah, Snoop's a national treasure though. He's forever going to be remembered. But I will say that one of the funnier comments that came up on my feed when I said personally, I liked it. I liked it because the nostalgia of it, great. What could it have gone longer? Could it have been a little bit more energetic? Yeah, I think so. They didn't perform as good as they should have, but again, they're old, so it's who knows? But the best comment, bro, on mine was I I think it was cousin Vinny. He put like, this halftime show sucked. And it was just a picture of all the accounts that say it. And it was just old, white, rickety old men. They were like, screwed it. And then the next comment was somebody that I know. He's like, this sucked. And I was like, see above picture. You were literally that guy. Oh my goodness.
I'm not that guy. I don't think it sucked per se.
I don't think it sucked at all.
I'm going to be honest. I don't think there's ever been a worthwhile or there's no point to the halftime show
Michael
for
Jackson,
me.
92.
The Weeknd
I mean,
last
you could
year
say
was
Prince.
amazing.
The Weeknd was good. Bruno Mars, I think.
Bruno
was the
Mars
best
is
Bruno
probably
one.
the best,
But
one of the best.
Usually, like, I don't give a shit about the halftime show. I didn't yesterday. I think that they left a lot on the table. I did watch for obvious reasons because, you know, the nostalgia thing, like you said, but I came away from it like, that they could have done a lot better. And I don't really want to see a bunch of old men rapping on stage at this point in my life. And I consider Eminem an old man, even though he's probably younger than me.
I mean, like I said, he has a million hits and they made him do the B-Rabbit. You know, like, and I get it. Detroit, sure. I don't know. I don't know. Whatever. Anyway, halftime show was great. Anyone else think the stage was going to collapse when they moved? Shook a hell of a lot. Yeah, that thing, it was like a whole town. The bottom of it, when Kendrick Lamar was doing his thing, like they were like dancing on like an overhead Google Maps view of the entire thing. I think the stage was pretty dope. What did I write?
Was it Dope Ski?
That was not, I did not say that. You know what's funny? Somebody else brought that up in another comment on a totally irrelevant non-chop sports thing. And he's like, I listened to the show enough to now where I'm starting to say things like that. I'm like, well, that's the goal ski here, folks, to get you to talk like Sturch and Gooch. But yeah, so that halftime pre-show, all that stuff, you know, I don't know how many people actually placed a bet on the national anthem. I did not. However, the betting started with the flip of the coin. It was heads.
If you listen to the sauce, he gave a little free one away on the props in terms of the touchback minus 140, good value. The opening kickoff is a touchback. He said the stat, it did hit. The opening kickoff was in fact
Speaking
a touchback,
of that,
cash minus 140, which I did not bet.
Speaking of that, I will say that the prop results, we did 8 props. We went 4-4. I went 4-4. Chris went 3-5. The sauce took it. And he went 5-3. So congratulations.
So what's
to
the
sauce.
donkey? I'm glad we didn't do anything because I took the L, but I had the donkey loss for sure.
What's the donkey loss? What does that mean?
Or the donkey prize. So whoever, when we made up the game, me and Kyle, we were gonna do a thing where like the loser has to do something shitty. Well, good thing for me, we didn't come up with it because I'm not doing anything now.
I finished second in whatever Kyle invited us to, and then we don't even know who won our fantasy. Like our postseason fantasy. Kyle's got to get on that as well. I don't know who won that thing. I don't even know who's in the league going into the Super Bowl. I have no idea. So there's got to be some kind of prizes going around. Some people still owe money. We owe other people money. Chop Sports playoff winner. Yes, that he just said that. 11-14 comes in that. So, can we get a shout out to the Chop Sports playoff winner? Yeah, well we don't know. I have no idea.
You weren't even in that. This is Scoop's thing that he ran. This has nothing to do with you.
Oh, then who won? I don't know. Who won that?
He won it.
Huh?
He's talking about himself.
He won the damn thing himself.
Dave, Dave is so lost right now. I promise you.
Definitely. No, he ran in the ESPN thing that I didn't do the picks in.
Yes.
Okay, so that's on me. I didn't know exactly what the hell he was talking about, but yeah, shout out to him. Next, Anthony coming up. What's next? Daytona 500. 1,000% yes.
Mm-hmm.
But there's hopefully baseball around the corner. Around now, you would be like, hey, pitchers and catchers.
Trying to come up with some way to do some home run pool or 13 run pool.
13 run pools are cool. I was in a couple of those. But yeah, let's get into the game, right? I mean, because we all watched it. The Rams obviously win it. That's their first Super Bowl since '99, and the last time they did that was the greatest show on turf, with Warner and Bruce and Holt and Falk and all those guys. So the Bengals, they get there, they fall short. That's unfortunate. But storyline wise, there was a lot. Dina bringing up the first one. Cooper Kupp wins MVP. Also concussed out of his mind, by the way. That, like, my brother texted me right after, and he's like, wow, man, look at that speech. Like, Cooper Kupp is like, he is ice in his veins type thing, right? He's so laid back. I'm like, in my head, I'm like, he's on Dream Street right now. My man got lit up in that final drive.
I don't know if it was in his head. I think that was a clean hit. The Rams got a break on that one, I think, because I don't think that was I think that should have been clean. They should have gotten a 10-yard penalty back.
Yeah.
As we talk about that drive and the refs, it's a tough one because I think a few of those were guaranteed penalties, but a few of them, like, you got to let them play because you let them play the entire game. You can't start calling penalties like that with a minute and a half to go. But as far as Cooper Kupp goes, because that's what we're trying to talk about here, I would say Cooper Kupp now with the Super Bowl MVP, him having the Triple Crown. Granted, he won the Offensive Player of the Year, not the actual MVP, which is, I think, the most you could get out of a receiver at this point.
Right.
I would say that Cooper Kupp had maybe one of the greatest seasons ever by a football player in terms of personal accomplishments.
Right. Triple
wins
crown.
a Super Bowl, wins a Triple Crown, 100 set records across the board in terms of catching the football. And then he goes out there, and if you look at the game against, was it Tampa, him having those big plays down the stretch.
Yeah.
Just what he's been able to do in the fourth quarter of these games. And in particularly the final drive or the game tying drive of all these playoff games, like Cooper Kupp. I'm not going to put him above Devontae yet because I'm
Of course not.
homer, but damn, man.
If you weren't a homer,
special season.
it's hard to even ask you this. If you weren't a homer, would you put him up there?
I mean, Cooper Kupp, I'm not saying he's worse than Devontae Adams. Devontae Adams has been proving it longer. I would take Cooper Kupp over Devontae right now, as age says you would do that. But yeah, Cooper Kupp,
a lot of hate coming in on
beast.
Jalen Ramsey, saying he's garbage. Now, let's be honest. He couldn't make a play on T. Higgins because he got his head turned around. Literally, physically removed. Like his head was almost twisted off. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are we doing here? Like that first of all, it's one thing for a no call. I get that part, but that's a big no call. And then deep down in your core, that there's going to be a makeup call. Like it's going to come no matter what. And on third down of all time, they call one on the linebacker holding the tight end. I was like, you got to be kidding. Like, no way did they just call that.
You really think that they gave him a makeup call? I can't imagine that.
Because you know what? They were probably hearing it the entire second half. That play came early in second half, kind of started the second half with a boom and a bang. And all of a sudden, you're probably getting chirp, chirp, chirp from the Bengals sideline or from the Rams sidelines. Like that was garbage. That was garbage. McVay all over Eli Apple, not greater than Jalen Ramsey. Sorry. Stop that scoop. You don't want to get banned from this thing, do you? O+ came in. Did anyone think that the Rams would lose this game, even if it meant getting help from the Zebras? Come on. Look, we collectively, besides the spread, we all kind of felt the Rams were going to win the game. Right?
I feel like as far as the reps went, because there was bad calls both ways, let's just call it a wash. So the Rams won straight up as far as I see it. It was a bad call. I do think Jalen Ramsey didn't play well because there was other plays where he was out of position. In that one, honestly, he might have picked that ball off because that's how lined up he was in that. But he also might have gotten mossed and Higgins might have caught the ball anyway, but I doubt it. But as far as the reps go, yeah, I don't think that they really affected the outcome. If everything was played straight up, you're going to get those things in a football game. It's fine to me.
Oh, there's again.
And yes, I did think the Rams had a chance to lose. Obviously.
I mean, in that last drive, sure. If you're watching this video, ladies and gentlemen, please give us a like. That would be great. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. We did really well last week. Kyle's show did very well. His second video did very well. Also, the subscriber count went up about 30 people. So we definitely are gaining traction there. So if you haven't liked or subscribed to the channel, please do so as well. Chris Payne coming in saying if there was a offensive line on the Bengals, that the Bengals win that game. Take away all those sacks. You think that's the biggest difference?
I mean, you could make the case, of course, but if you have more offensive linemen and you're paying offensive linemen, then what are you losing? Because if you would have drafted offensive line this year in the first round, you wouldn't have Jamar Chase. So you can make the case, of course, if their offensive line played better, then of course, but you're going up against Aaron Donald, Von Miller. I think the offensive line played particularly well, all things considered.
Ready for this? You agree with the Bengals going for it on fourth down opening drive?
Absolutely not.
No shot.
Absolutely not.
That is your head coach trying to flex on his boy, McVay, saying, watch this. Like, do not.
I don't think it's him trying to flex on his boy.
Coach.
I don't think he's trying to. I don't think it has anything to do with, I know you personally, so I'm going for it on fourth down. Any situation right there. The analytics say go for it because getting the yard there. Yeah, I'm saying in that spot, though, I just can't do it.
No way.
Not the way my defense just played in the first opening drive where they sacked Stafford, I believe, almost twice. Or they had tackles for loss on one play and then a sack on another play. So, yeah, I'm kicking it and making them go 90 yards. I'm not giving them 2 first downs and easy points. No, not going to happen.
I'm not sure. Ken Paulman, by the way, congrats. You're one of our winners on the box pool. The second third down play, Henderson got mugged. They made up for it on the third down call. Maybe he's going back to the makeup call. But in any event, Cooper Kupp, your MVP. Congratulations to him. What's next, Dina? Here's a healthy conversation to have. Aaron Donald played out of his mind last night. And of course, yes, the Bengals offensive line was definitely left to be desired. You know what I mean? Like they were not that good. And obviously Burrow went down a bunch of times. I believe it was 7, if I'm not mistaken, 7 sacks, something to that effect. So basically a Tennessee thing all over again, -2. But Aaron Donald proved to be the greatest defensive tackle to maybe ever play the game, I think.
I think he was in the conversation already.
And now he just proved it, and he solidified it with a ring and everything. Like, there was other guys, like I was sitting with my boy Mark watching the game, and I sat down, I was like, there's a chance for him to be written off into the sunset and say, like, that's the greatest D tackle to ever play. And he's like, no, Warren Sapp, this, that, and the third, John Randall. And I'm just like, I get it, different era, but this guy manhandles people. And when the game was on the line, who was the guy to get up on Joe Burrow? Which, by the way, he could have caught that ball, I thought.
Who?
Perrine.
Oh, yeah.
It was right there. I was like, oh, shit. I don't think he was ready for it.
I thought you were talking about a pick. I was like, wait, he dropped a pick? Did I miss that?
But, yeah, no, Aaron Donald, there's rumors now that because he won the Super Bowl, he can leave the game on this highest of horses, right? I don't know if that's the case, but he's made a lot of money, and he wants to spend time with his family. Like, this could be a real thing. He can kind of contemplate this. We already know Whitworth is done. He said it. He announced it. Whitworth is done. Wins Walter Payton Man of the Year. Then he wins the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? So now he's literally riding off.
I'm going to answer it. Aaron Donald's not retiring. It's all him getting asked questions. Aaron Donald didn't come out and say, guess what, guys? I might retire. He's asked questions, and the way he's answering them is very almost he's like Aaron Rodgers answers, where you don't know. I'm living in the moment. I might. So the media will take that and run. He's only played 8 seasons. It's not like Aaron Donald has been in football. You know, he's not played 14 years chasing the ring. He's got it now. But when you win a ring, you think that that's it. These guys are competitors. And yes, he said he's gotten a lot of money, but how much more money is on the table now that he's won a ring and he's going to get another big contract?
I don't know if he gets another big contract. I mean, it's not as big as the first one.
Bigger.
You think?
What do you mean, Dave? If Aaron
he's getting older,
he's only played 8 years. He's a defensive tackle. It's not like he's a running back. You know, if he hits free agency, Aaron Donald is going to get a ton of money. Look at the money JJ Watt got.
Mm-hmm.
Think about it. When he was at the tail end of his career, he just got paid too. I think Aaron Donald is going to stick around for at least 2 or 3 more years.
I don't know, man. I mean, that's a hard position to play. You're getting banged around literally every play. First of all, it goes to show you that if you don't like, I'm not going to knock anybody who doesn't like football, but I am going to question your Americanhood. No, that's not a word. If you're a red-blooded male American, you got to love football. And the reason why I say that is because of Donald's speech at the end, man. Just in his feelings, a mess, a crying mess, bro. That is football 101 right there. That is exactly why I love the game. And it's just like, after that, maybe he knew going in, like, hey, listen, if I get this done, kids, if I win this Super Bowl, daddy's coming home and he's staying home. I could see that. I could see it. I know you can't because
I just don't
you see millions and millions
of dollars.
But when you get to the NFL, what's the real goal? To become a millionaire a million times over, right? Win a Super Bowl, win all the accolades, win a defensive player of the year. He's done it all.
But you act like Tom Brady didn't do it all. You know, like,
yeah, but he was.
Some guys just have. I understand Tom Brady's a bad example, but it's not. Aaron Donald's not the first person in history to win a Super Bowl.
Right.
You know, and there's a legacy on the line. Right now, you can make the case that he's the best defensive tackle ever, but you can make the case for other guys as well. I think if Aaron Donald plays a couple more years at this level, then there really is no case to be made for anybody else.
This coming in from Officer Chris Payne. He's a good guy who speaks well, walks away with his health and a nice bankroll and a head to the booth and talk about it. He could. My man, look, I think
those things are going to be on the table still. I think he still has some goals. Running it back, when you start, the offseason sets in.
Are they going to be able to run it back, though?
I mean,
that's another conversation.
Did anybody talk about how the Bucs brought back everybody with terrible cap situation as well? It's very possible, especially when you just won and everybody had fun together.
Yeah, but the Bucs weren't loaded with stars like these guys are. Is what I'm saying.
The Bucs were so loaded with stars.
Self-made stars. Levante David was a self-made, homegrown guy.
Yeah, but then you got the Fournettes of the world. The Godwin was a free agent.
Yeah, so I don't think Fournette was making a lot of money.
But either way, he had to re-sign. He was definitely due to get more money somewhere else. Antonio Brown re-signed, even though he walked away from it. But you get what I'm saying. In the offseason, there was a big question mark surrounding, is AB going to come back? Godwin came back. It didn't deal with any bullshit with him wanting to walk at a team discount. So, yeah, of course, some guys want to run it back and see if they could repeat.
The NFC isn't great. Look at the quarterback, Seb Rogers, F off. Thank you. I guess, Dak. So, anyway, Joe Green 1-4. Congratulations, Ken. They had to throw that Steelers spin on there eventually. But, yeah, we'll have to get into what's coming next for a lot of these guys, because obviously Aaron Donald, questions still to be answered. I think there's definitely questions to be answered about Aaron Donald, but I think legacy wise, the guy's amazing. Sean McVay, validating the hype. Okay. Listen, if you ever want to listen to a guy talk football, like I know a lot of people are rubbed the wrong way with Sean McVay. I think the guy's great. I think he's a football mind. He comes from a lineage of good coaches. He comes from a staff of just a tree that was started in Washington, branched off, did his thing. A lot of those guys came off that Washington staff and succeeded. You know, obviously LaFleur's doing wonderful. McVay's doing great. This guy who he just coached against, all these guys, they're all doing well. McVay now has we talked about Aaron Donald doing it. Maybe McVay's done too. He's talked about stepping away from the game. He's got some money on the table right now. He's contracted through 2023. So right now, if he walked away, he'd be walking away from $17 million. But he's about to get engaged, according to sources, right? He's about to do that. He's about to start his life. He just won a Super Bowl. He's been to 2. What else does he? I know he's a football mind, but like, is there meat on the bone for this guy?
Yes.
There's the pinnacle.
Yes.
Does he want to get into this Ram situation next year where they might lose guys because of the contract and cap situation?
You realize that these guys, this is what these guys do. This is his
get
job. It's his life. He won a Super Bowl. All this to build up to one point. He finally does it. I can't see a guy that's as competitive as him. Same thing with Aaron Donald, just leaving all this on the table and not having a chance to do something special and run it back. Sean McVay's under contract. Anytime you hear about a guy winning a Super Bowl, they answer questions like, oh, is that it? Did you reach the pinnacle? Are you done? This is all media speak as far as I'm concerned.
Mm-hmm.
Sean McVay looks like he's ready to go, bro. Like after the Super Bowl was over, he
looked
like he was ready to coach another game right there. So these guys aren't walking away from a goddamn thing, bro. Like there's a lot of money to be made for these guys. He's a young dude. Is Sean McVay, maybe he takes a year off? That's not even really feasible to me. At this point in his career, why would he do that? You know, everything Sean McVay has touched up to this point has been gold. Look at all the guys that have come from the Sean McVay family tree or coaching tree already. It's actually incredible for a coach this young. When I guess it really does come from Shanahan to begin with. But no, bro, just because how many coaches have wives? Pretty much all of them, right?
Except him. He's engaged. He's about to get engaged.
But the point that I'm making is being an NFL head coach and being engaged or being married, that goes hand in hand. That's just that's par for the course. Just because he's about to get married, that has zero bearing on it.
Okay.
I don't think.
All right, well,
but just to talk about his job in the actual game, I think Sean McVay kind of got out coached in the second half. What was he doing with the reverse, the Philly special?
Philly
like you're
special.
getting too
what
cute,
the hell
bro.
is going on?
Too cute.
And running back could have ran for green pastures, and they try to force feed a throw into Matt Stafford. Like, what are you trying to pull off here? Like, there's no reason to say like, hey, it worked. You know,
and Cooper Kupp could have taken that to the house. Probably there was one move to make on the corner, and he might have been gone.
Right. That's what I just said. He had green pastures in front of him. He could have just bolted. But yeah, a poor coaching decision on that regard. But overall, I mean, to say he got out coached, I don't know about that. But he did win the Super Bowl. So that's McVay is a legend now. You know, you're waiting for this moment for him because you just knew it was bound to happen. It was inevitable. I think he's leaps and bounds smarter than a lot of guys out there, and he gets it done. Stafford catches the ball and he gets destroyed. That's what I said too. If he would have caught that ball, right? If they threw it to Stafford, he was about to get destroyed by Bell. Bell was going to ring his bell, right? And he might not have even gotten the first down after all on a third down call. So bad call, bad situation. So I've been on the anti-Odell Beckham train for as long as he's been in the league. Right. Only it was the last, 3-4 weeks of the season. I started thinking to myself, like, all right, you know what? When he's not bitching and moaning, he's a really good football player. And you can look past some of the weirdness that he is and just the oddball effect that Odell brings. Right. So now what's next? The guy wins a Super Bowl. I was gutted when he went down with the injury. I was like, oh my God, like the guy just gets there. He catches a touchdown in the Super Bowl. He's got his moment. He can help. But tell you right now, dude, if Odell Beckham plays the entire game, this isn't as close as it was.
Yeah, I agree. As soon as Beckham went down, that's when the Bengals had some life. What's his name? I can't even pronounce the guy.
Eli Apple?
No.
Cheeto?
The guy that came in and filled in for Beckham and dropped the ball that turned into an
interception by my boy Cheeto. Shout out.
There was 14:38 left in the third quarter, and the Rams had already given up a touchdown and turned the ball over in territory. So they gave up 10 points within a minute, and that was all since the Odell Beckham injury. It went downhill immediately after that. But I wasn't gutted for him by any stretch. I was gutted for myself because I needed Odell to have like 11 more points for me to win a fantasy.
He actually fell
championship
about 5 yards
in my work
short
league.
of his over-under on the yardage. Or no, three receptions, I think 5 yards short on the over-under for him. So if you bet the over on him and went down, you knew it was over. But in any event, so what's next? Is OBJ? We don't know the extent of the injury yet. I'm sure it'll come out today, as a matter of fact.
I don't think it's an ACL. I think they would have known that already. They would have came out and said they believe ACL. I don't think it was an ACL the way he was walking.
It was
around.
non-contact. You can walk on it.
Of course. But there was him walking around at halftime or the whole second half acting like he's not hurt. Now I understand playing football and walking around are two different things. But if he had a torn ACL, I would imagine they would have had him
patella tendon is what Chris thinks off that. But can we talk about for a second NBC and Chris Collinsworth? Like NBC harped on this kid for being hurt. And then Chris Collinsworth, with the Schefter moment of the year, with the obvious, he's like, this has to be really hard for Odell Beckham Jr. No shit, dude. Like the guy, the camera is in his face. He's literally in tears on the sidelines because he's not out there helping his team. And they're staying with it. NBC, whoever's producing that show, was like, stay with Beckham. Beckham's hurt. Beckham's crying. Get on Beckham again. Like, get off. There's so many things going on in the Super Bowl, and you're on Beckham half the game. Stop.
I think that Odell Beckham's one of the biggest stars in the league, whether you find that to be right, wrong, or indifferent. He is. And leading up to it, he's the glorified possession receiver. But Odell sells tickets. He puts asses in seats. And
Sam
for whatever
Breslow
reason,
just came in and said if he didn't get hurt, he could have been an MVP candidate. Think so?
Yeah, because he was getting all the looks early on. It wasn't Cooper Kupp until Odell went down.
Yeah.
So yeah, of course.
I agree. So what's next? What's for him? Sorry. What's next for OBJ?
I don't know that he's going to be able to re-sign with LA unless they make something happen with the cap. I know that they're not in great cap situation. I'm not sure what Von Miller's deal is like. Is he set to walk as well, or they got another year out of him?
I don't know. All I know is they're 14 over going into the offseason. So, and I believe that's before they pay out their contracts. So they're going to be in a little bit of a nasty situation when it comes to the cap.
Did they extend Stafford when they made that trade? Did they already rework the deal?
No.
So they didn't work the deal out at all. And I think
he's only got 1 year left.
I think that was smart on their end because now they could rework it and put some language in that contract. And Matthew Stafford probably has the ability to fix the entire cap situation on his own out in LA, which I expect him to I fully expect him to do if he is able to do that.
Chargers have a lot of cap space. Deal. Kyle says, why not sign Odell? Yeah, I wouldn't have to move.
Now, I don't know. See, Odell strikes me as the type of guy that would definitely go to where the money is at. But I don't know at this point if Odell wouldn't also be interested in giving it a one more year.
Do you think Odell is still the guy to be a number one receiver somewhere? Or is that ship kind of sailed? Because he definitely excelled being the number two at this point in this season in particular. Because I don't know. I think if somebody, and I'm not saying this, if Dallas were to come calling and say, we got Cooper, we got Lamb, hey, Odell, you want to play too? He would flourish in an offensive like that. I don't know if I'm taking him as a fan of the Cowboys, but as the GM, if you're going to do it. But like, for instance, if he lined up opposing your boy, Devontae Adams, he would have a hell of a season.
Of course, the Packers should have made that move. I think we would be having a different conversation.
But I'm saying, do you think he's got the intangibles to still be a one? Like if he goes down to Jacksonville, like can he be the guy?
No.
Right. So that I think that ship is
But I
sailed.
don't think that's necessarily a knock on him. Could he be the one on a team? Yes. Could he put up numbers? And if you throw him the ball a bunch, he's going to have a bunch of catches. Could he stay healthy? That's another situation altogether. But no, I don't think he's good enough to be the one on a Super Bowl championship team.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. No,
but there's good number ones out there.
And look, this is whatever he did injury wise. He might not be ready for training camp.
Put it this way. Odell Beckham Jr. is 100% in my mind a top 32 wideout in the NFL. So you're not finding me 32 players better than him at receiver. It's not going to happen. So by that standard, then he is a number one.
Then yes, that makes sense then. Well, some teams could have two of the top 32.
That's fine. But you understand what I'm saying? Like in terms of that standard, the tier standard in terms of fantasy football kind of deal.
I'm with it. Okay.
Then yeah.
Fine. Wow, no more fantasy football either. What a sad day it is today. What's next? It is time to debate Matt Stafford. Now that he has his Super Bowl, is he going to the Hall of Fame as a first ballot Hall of Famer? We all said he had the numbers. Now he has the hardware. Is he moonwalking into the Hall of Fame now?
You notice how on this graphic I took away, I was going to put is Matt Stafford a Hall of Famer, but I think that the conversation was there to be
First
had
ballot.
prior to him winning the Super Bowl. I don't think he was a Hall of Famer, but now when you win a Super Bowl and you look at the counting stats he's going to finish with, there is a very, very good chance that now Matthew Stafford is going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. And I don't necessarily agree with that, but there's still a lot of work to be done. He might win another ring for all we know, but right now as it stands, there's no way. I just can't see him being first ballot.
No MVP, no first team All Pro, no Hall of Fame. That's what Kyle says. But what about Troy? I thought we had this conversation Friday. Troy Aikman, no MVP of the league, no All Pro. You know, he won. He's in the Hall of Fame. He also won 3 rings. But yes, Anthony G coming in saying yes, moonwalking into the Hall of Fame, first ballot.
I mean, like Kyle, you're saying that, but now you got to look. There's a lot of quarterbacks in the Hall of Fame that I would imagine that stands for, right?
What are his numbers compared to?
Maybe I'm wrong.
What
Maybe
is
there's
his numbers
not.
compared to Eli? He blows it out of the water.
He's
right?
got way better numbers than Eli.
Yeah, so he's good. He should go in before Eli does. Numbers
Now,
wise,
is Phillip Rivers going to get in the Hall of Fame?
He doesn't have any hardware, so that could be a thing. I mean, the one of note you think about right off the rip is Marino, right? Like no Hall of Fame, but crazy numbers. He's in the Hall of Fame.
He was first team All Pro a bunch.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying that they listen. Winning is the name of the game in this league. You know, everybody. If you're not winning, forget it. Pretty Archie Manning got in. Is Archie Manning a Hall of Famer? Is that a thing?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Whoa. I didn't know that. Are you sure?
Yes.
Archie Manning. I don't know about that. I for whatever reason, I do not think Archie Manning is a Hall of Famer. Can you look that up, Dina?
Yep.
Because I'm actually very curious. Because you talk about a guy with a mediocre career and play for a shit team the entire time. How the hell do you make the Hall of Fame? I don't know about that.
Well, I don't think that Stafford's the first ballot Hall of Famer, but I do think he's a guaranteed Hall of Famer at this point.
What has
he has some work to do to be first
Manning
ballot.
was an inaugural inductee into the Saints Hall of Fame in 1988.
Saints Hall of Fame. But he's not in the NFL Hall of Fame. No way. There's no shot. No. I will die on the hill. He is 1988 inaugural. That's not the Hall of Fame. The Hall of Fame was there before 88, right? The 88 was the first year they inducted the Hall of Fame. No. Right. So that's definitely
fake news.
The Saints Hall of Fame. There's no way that Archie Manning. Yeah. Oh, Saints Hall of Fame. Thanks, Scoop. Yeah. Do your research before you start commenting on their fake news bullshit. There's already one Manning in. I'm good with the Mannings getting in. Peyton's the guy. That's it. No more. But in my opinion, Stafford with this win, it puts him. If he retired this year, it puts him in the Hall of Fame. Think about that class now. Think about that class. If he retired this year, let's just say he rides into the sunset, wants to go away from football. Roethlisberger retired. Brady somewhat retired already. Rodgers has to make a decision. So you imagine that class going into the Hall of Fame? All 4 quarterbacks get in. They all walk in.
Well, we're not going to talk about Aaron Rodgers, but I will gloss over the fact that the Packers are set to offer a crazy contract to Rodgers. So
worth it?
Yeah, because what do you mean worth it? You understand how this works, right?
I mean, he's all world. So yes, it's worth it.
No, but like right now they owe him a ton of money as it stands. So them making this extension would just fix the cap situation. It's team friendly deal if they
well, they can't extend him for like 4 years. They can't spread it out that thin.
They absolutely can.
But he's not going to play 4 more years. So
anyway, that's the whole point. Look, I'm not going to get into the whole language of how they'll work out the contract.
About Rodgers
but if Rodgers gets extended right now, it's going to help the team with their financial flexibility right now.
Maybe enough to pay
question about
$40 million for a receiver too. What else we got, Dean? Is that it? Oh, so obviously we've been talking about
$40 million for Devontae before paying what you're paying Dak.
See, I don't know.
You took your shot. You took your shot. I felt like that was a veiled shot.
How is it a veiled shot?
$40 million for a receiver too. I felt like
he's about to reset the market. I'm not saying he's
not giving him $40 million, $30 million.
Still
30.
They're just 30. Good Lord. It takes a shot at Dak. I mean,
I thought I'm understand. I was under the impression.
I
was under the impression that you were taking a veiled shot at me.
I've been the one that said
situation.
that Adams is the best receiver in football.
No, that's yeah. Well, you also kind of did say Cooper Kupp, maybe.
Yeah, well, then he's in the conversation now, isn't he, folks?
But moving on, we don't want to have the Cowboys Packers debate right now.
Yeah, we got all off season for that, but we do have Joe Burrow falling short. Now the thing is with him is obviously the offensive line did not do him any favors. He was on the run and under duress the entire time. I will say that it's going to be easier for the Rams to get back than it is for the Bengals. when I say that is the Rams have to deal with the Packers if Rodgers comes back. Dallas might be a contender. I'll go into the odds in a second, which is numbing to me, and I don't understand why. But whatchamacallit. So the NFC isn't as loaded as the AFC. For them to get back, it's gonna take Burrow to beat the likes of Mahomes, Allen, Jackson. I know nobody puts Jackson in that conversation except me because he does win games. I mean, he might not be your prototypical quarterback, but he does win games. And there's Josh. Then there's Herbert.
Apologist.
Say what?
All of a sudden, you're putting Lamar into that category.
I'm just saying the Ravens will be back.
No,
the Ravens will be back as a team. Whether he's doing it or not, the Ravens will be back. And I also think that Herbert, obviously the Chargers have a very young team. They can make a run. So it's going to be very difficult for Joe Burr, to get over the hump again. Do you think this is was it overblown, Gooch? Like with his whole swag and this, that, and the third, and look at him dripping and Joey B. And we all went over. We went over this on Friday with Kyle.
Was it overblown? Yes, because the media makes a mountain of a molehill with every single thing that you could think of. Joe Burrow is a great young quarterback. Is he going to be a great young quarterback for years to come? Yes. I can't see Joe Burrow falling off the mountain at this point. It is going to be a tough road going in the AFC as you look forward with Mahomes, Josh Allen. Like, you're correct about that. But Joe Burrow is firmly entrenched in those names. You can make all the comments about him falling short. Look, Matthew Stafford threw a pick to the 49ers that would have ended the game. He threw 2 picks yesterday. He played like shit in the whole second half outside of the final drive. This is what happens when you're going up against good talent. It's not like Joe Burrow failed against bums. He went up against Aaron Donald and Von Miller. He got sacked 7 times. He was sacked 23 times in the postseason.
All right. First of all, Kyle, the guy is in his second year. He's not asking for an extension this year. That's not happening. There's a 5-year plan. So that's a question. I know that's not. He's really trying to validate his second contract quarterback stuff. That argument of him not being able to get back. I'm talking about just the talent level in itself in the AFC for Joe Burrow not to get back. But I will say, dude, for a couple of weeks, and even us, we bought in a little bit. We thought this hype train was up and it was rolling, right? So now he falls short. That offense is good. The defense played well, but that wasn't the Titans, right? It wasn't the Titans. The Rams were there. And even if the Rams fell short on 2 sack numbers, their offense is way better than the Tennessee Titans. So they went against the juggernaut of the Rams and they fell short. My question is, does Joe Burrow, I don't know, was the hype worth what we were talking about?
He's in his second year and he made it to the Super Bowl. This is what happens when you go against a good team. They had the game in hand. I don't think it was Joe Burrow's fault that they lost. You could point at, I think they had a 3-and-out late in the game. But did he make a bad throw? I think he might have actually made a bad throw on that. So you're going to judge him on one play. Joe Burrow's made plays all year long. He's a young quarterback and he took his team to the Super Bowl. You could say that it was gifted to him all you want. I've said that about Brady for 20 years. And then at the end of his career, he had 7 rings.
Right. So Payne came in and said, how many games did Joe Burrow play in the past 2 seasons? Also with the injury, I think he's back a couple times over his career. So again, I don't think the path is going to be as easy. I think almost, again, going through that juggernaut of an AFC conference is just incredible. It's incredible.
And they have a really good head coach, young, good head coach. I would imagine you're going to see this team in the playoffs for a lot of years to come. But getting back to the Super Bowl, who knows? I mean, I'm not making that prediction, but I think he'll be back.
All right. I didn't see anything. Ken Palmer came in for some Mixon talk. Not a lot of mixing to be found, man. Not a lot of mixing at all. And we knew that because the run defense and that front for the Rams was going to be difficult. So there wasn't a lot. But in his regard, never stayed healthy until this year. So now you got a healthy Mixon going in. The Bengals are going to be tough. The Bengals are definitely going to be – that division is going to be tough. I want to say it's 2 teams right now. Without a real quarterback in Pittsburgh, I think they fall off a little bit. And I think Cleveland is just – I don't know what the hell Cleveland's ever going to be. Really, honestly, I just never could figure those guys out. But it's a 2-team race, I think. The Bengals and the Ravens, they battle it out.
I think the Steelers will end up getting a veteran quarterback.
Think so?
Yeah.
Who?
Maybe Winston.
Okay. Not a bad – maybe Russ? No Russ, who's sitting right next to Goodell, basically give him a handy during the friggin' game. Like, oh, my God, it was disturbing. I'm just like, how close do you have to be to the commissioner of the football league? Like, stop. We get it. We are liked, everybody.
Yeah.
All right. So that's basically, I mean, what I wanted to touch on real quick was the 2023 Super Bowl odds to win. They came out last night as soon as the game was over. If you logged on to FanDuel, DraftKings, all of them, BetMGM, all those guys. They came out with their futures, right? So here's the future. Here's the futures of the winners for next year. Leading off, top dog, the Chiefs, plus 700 right now to win the Super Bowl next year. Also plus 700, the Buffalo Bills. Okay, so all of a sudden, the winner's coming out of the AFC next year, according to Vegas. This is where it gets tricky to me. It goes from plus 700 to plus 1,200, two teams. Two teams at plus 1,200. Ready? The Los Angeles Rams to run it back and the Dallas Cowboys. Like, what? Like, what am I missing here? I was kind of confused, but then I was corrected. And then right now the Packers are right behind them at plus 1,300. I think the Packers jump up once the Rodgers thing is worked out. That'll jump. Well, once it worked out. And then the Niners come in at plus 1,500. Gina, you can go back to the default one. Which we'll call. So the Niners being plus 1,500, that quarterback situation, no idea. So I figured it out after talking to a bunch of guys on Twitter and on social media why the Cowboys are plus 1,200 and now the fourth or technically tie for second best odds to win the Super Bowl next year is because Cowboys fans are morons and they're going to run to DraftKings right now and place that bet because you're never going to get better odds than that, right? That's why, because they know that the Cowboys fans are going to jump all over this bet.
And then you could combine that with the fact that they really are going to control that division for the foreseeable future.
Fine, but what does that do? Obviously, they controlled it last year. They won the division by 3 games.
I mean, it gets you almost the guarantee that not many other teams have, where the Packers would have it if Rodgers was back, guaranteed. But you understand what I'm saying? Like they're going to be in the postseason. When you look at it, who's the guaranteed teams to make the postseason? You say the Bills, the Chiefs. Maybe not even the Chiefs. I guess you can't guarantee.
Yeah,
anything,
I would.
But I would guarantee it the way they played in the second half.
But Chris Payne, what are your Jets? Well, the Jets, the worst I know right now is plus 20,000, and that is the Jacksonville Jaguars. So they're probably right around that same vicinity, I want to say. But it just kind of shocked me to see that for the Cowboys. But I think the Cowboys fans will jump all over the bet and be like, hey, we're going to do it again next year. Better. I said that to my son yesterday. I said, next year, Miles, the Cowboys will be in it. And little does Miles know that Dad says that every year for the last 30 years of my life or 26 years or whatever the hell it's been. But yeah, so he's going to have to endure that pain with me. But that's the Super Bowl, man. I mean, it's an upsetting thing that the Super Bowl is come and gone. The season is over. A lot of husbands out there and boyfriends out there will be more productive on Sundays. Congratulations.
Just had that conversation today.
That just pulled landscaping duty.
You get me back on Sundays now.
I mean, that unless work decides to be a little bit of a bitch.
No.
But
that's not happening.
yeah, I mean, look, there's projects around my house I got to get done. And like Sundays are going to be different. I'm not going to sit there and watch NASCAR or anything like that. I can't do it. I need baseball in my life really bad.
But even baseball back, it's like a passive. I passively watch baseball. I'm not like I need to sit down at.
You'll watch the opening day game probably.
Of course, but even still, like if I have something to do, I'll move around during the day. I'm not sitting there hard.
I'm the same way with the Knicks and the Rangers. Like I can't honestly watch every game that I tried, and especially during football season. Now I can get back into pro wrestling on Monday nights if I want to, which again I do it because now I host a podcast about it. So that's I'm kind of required, which by the way, we'll be recording later on. Chop Heads, Combat Sports. We're going to go over something that we want to talk about briefly real quick because of Dina and her picks. One more time. Adesanya retains the title at UFC 271. Dina killed it. Okay. She nailed the shoey. She nailed that pick. She said he would win and the Black Beast got crushed, but we'll get more into that in that show. But the big one is Adesanya wins another one. I was watching it like this. Like, I don't know if I'm going to make it. Didn't say like, I was in mid conversation with so many people about it. And then they didn't hear from me until the next morning. Cause I was just like, I'm out.
Yeah, the fight itself was very, very subpar, but it's what you expect out of a champion, a long-standing champion at this point. They're really not out there hungry to prove anything because it's already been proven in their eyes, and it's up to the challenger to come in. And I've never been the type of guy to say, like, you got to go in and beat the champion, like, by knocking him out or something. Like, you just call the fight.
I know, but it is hard to win by decision. Even though those judges
it shouldn't be. It should be this. It should be you watch the fight and you watch round by round and you score the rounds. And if this guy wins the round, then you give it to him. It doesn't matter who's the champion. That's my take. But
that's the correct take.
That's the correct take.
But that's not.
But that's not
goes.
Necessarily how it always goes. Some of the judging in this card was so brutal. But
oh my god,
about that.
dude! They ripped them. We'll talk. Yeah,
I don't want to get too deep into
they ripped
the
them
judging,
publicly.
But Adesanya, what he does it well. He keeps his distance. He's hard to take down. He uses his space well. And Whitaker, just couldn't get inside on the takedown, and he was desperate for it. Didn't do enough. And Adesanya made him pay with leg kicks. So he could have done that all day. If they would have fought for 40 hours, you would have saw the exact same thing continue to happen. Whitaker will never beat Adesanya, even though some people are actually crying foul as far as like the rounds that Whitaker won 3 rounds. He didn't. And he got chipped up early in the fight. I think Adesanya, if he could just show a little more of a killer instinct, he would elevate his popularity just a little bit.
Seems a little
more.
laissez-faire about everything, and that could be his personality. But the writing was on the wall, guys. I don't know if you saw this, like pre-fight. He won that rock paper scissors in the pre-shake, the handshake.
Yep.
Like like touch gloves, and he's like, pop, pop, and he covered Bobby Knuckles' knuckles, and he went to the corner. I'm like, the guy is so loose, and
I
like
love
right
it.
then and there, I was like, this is his fight to win this fight. But anyway, we'll get into that. Chop heads, combat sports. One last thing I want to tell you about, which I'm not sure if Gooch saw this, and Scoop, you brought it up earlier. Did you by any chance see the ace that was hit on 16th at the Waste Management Open or whatever, that golf, where the crowd went absolutely nuts? Like when I say all right, so you're just
Did they show it during the Super Bowl?
No.
Dave did share it on Twitter.
I shared it on Twitter because
That's how
it
I
was
saw it.
an epic scene. So and I asked my brother, I said, is this kind of like normal for this course? And he's like, yeah, it's Waste Management course. Like, you're allowed to be loud and obnoxious the entire time. So when they're like, quiet please, and like nobody can say anything while they're in their backstroke, they can do anything the entire time. When this guy hits this ace, right, hole in one on, I think it was a par 3, hole in one, the crowd goes nuts. The beers that got wasted on that, like, it was the announcers getting covered. It was
This is like
epic.
a PGA thing.
This is a golf outing, bro.
A golf outing, or was it like actually like
PGA? It's called the Waste Management thing, right? And like I'm thinking of Shooter McGavin when he gets like the beach volleyball that comes in. He's like, this is golf, he's so pissed off that it's happening. But dude, if golf was like that every time, I'd watch so much more golf.
Oh.
That's so intense.
Yeah, I was gonna say they should do that more often.
Absolutely. But in any event, so congrats to Dina on her hits over the weekend. What else? Oh, by the way, I got to ask you, how you feeling physically? Because I know you sent a picture to the group chat of a tennis racket because it was sunny and beautiful. And I got my cardio in. I was throwing. I Brady bunched my daughter, man. I hit her right in the face with the football.
Oh.
And I felt so when I tell you she got her way tenfold after that, I was like, here you go, ready? Here we go. And it just
did it
bang
hurt?
right in her
Was she
face.
crying?
Oh, right away.
So like this is what me
I
personally.
mean, look, hurt.
I don't have any
quick.
kids yet, but with my nieces and nephews, and not to say that they're like the best athletes, because they don't play enough besides the video games. But first thing you do is you take a ball and you throw it right at their face.
I'm
and
sorry?
you'd be like, see, it doesn't hurt. And then this way they're not afraid of the ball the rest of their life. Just make it seem like
so you
no
think that was a
big deal.
good thing that hit her face?
Yeah, bro. It's like she lived. She got hit in the face with the ball.
She's alive.
Now
That's
she's
good.
experienced
That's
it,
always good.
and now she understands. Like, well, the ball didn't really hurt that much, so you don't have to be afraid of the ball.
Thank God, like I threw it like sideways, not like a tight spiral. Like it was like sideways.
Yeah, I
bridged her
will
nose.
be like soft tossing the balls. Well, this is gonna come out really terrible.
Oh.
I'll soft toss tennis balls to my kids right in the face at a young age, so they know it's not gonna hurt if they have to play baseball and they get hit in the face with the ball. They'll be all right.
Kyle, I love it. I saw 2 fat naked bikers having sex. How am I supposed to chip? I had to hit it off of Frankenstein's fat foot. That's such a great. Oh my God. I watched it the other day. That was always on. It's always on. But yeah, so I was asking you how you felt because you showed me a picture of your tennis. Did you play? Obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you feel? You good? You lose?
No.
No.
I feel like shit. Actually, it fucked up my whole weekend, and I had work that night. I definitely pulled my calf. Not good.
Uh-oh.
No,
Dak
I was
Prescott
running
style?
toward, I had to run up and make a play, and just a rough situation. It didn't feel great. We actually had to stop. I kept going, but then we were sitting there. I'm like, this is like I'm actually hurt right now. This isn't smart. We should probably stop.
And the
Yeah.
live betting odds have just shifted just a little bit. Now he will be dealing with a strained calf for the next 6 months because as a 40-year-old man, that's what happens.
No, I'm already good to go.
Oh, you
I'm
feel good now?
Yeah, I'm
You're
gonna go
good?
play tennis this week. We looked at the weather. I've been texting with him this morning. Yeah, Dave, I'm gonna be playing tennis consistently until this match. I'm just giving you guys all the heads up. If
Yo,
I were
guys,
you,
Scoop.
if
Tommy,
I were you, I would at least get out there a couple times and try and hit the ball. So here's what's going to happen though. If you go out and play tennis, you're going to be like, I'm not doing this. You're like, I'm not going and playing.
But if I know I don't have to run the length of the court, knowing there's 2 other guys,
okay,
it might be different. It might be different. I'm not saying it's going to be different. Tennis excuses, according to Ken Paulman, who, by the way, Gooch, questionable. Your status now, questionable.
I'm definitely not questionable.
I'm a game time decision.
I'm 100%
going in.
playing regardless.
So,
There's no question about it.
all right.
No doubt.
We shall see.
I was questionable to continue playing the game the other day. I gave it a shot and I wasn't able to go. So questionable. I have to be really injured for me to even be questionable, especially if I'm talking shit.
Yeah, you are talking a lot of
Talking shit.
You do a lot. You do that a lot. All right. Anyway, let's get out of here. This is very upsetting, but this is the last time you'll hear us talk about football for at least 24 hours. As the offseason,
there's
of
definitely going
course,
to be football talk
yeah,
tomorrow.
the offseason is here for all 32 teams, right? The 31 teams go home a loser.
Draft order is set.
Draft order is officially set, which, by the way, the Lions now have an extra 30-second pick in the draft because of the Stafford trade. So they're in the first round. The Rams are not. So they're not anywhere near the first round. The draft order is set. Free agency starts. The underwear Olympics start, because I'm definitely not watching the real Olympics right now, but I will say the underwear Olympics, aka the combine, where everybody's just kind of running around in Under Armour shit, and like, nobody can actually judge based off of those drills, like who's going to be good and who's not going to be good. If you can throw, you can throw. You can run, you can run. But yeah, so that starts at the end of or beginning of March in prime time. Hopefully we get some baseball stuff to talk about. We'll update everybody on the lockout situation tomorrow. But yeah, there's a full slate of NBA games. Kyle Kerms, my man, just so you know, off the hot seat, was 3-1 on his pick. So to make 4 picks in just over 4 minutes and go 3-1, maybe, just maybe, the guy knows what he's talking about.
It was over 4 minutes, by the way.
I know. He edited the video.
But it was it was because he fucked up. He misspoke early, and he would have definitely had
He
it
didn't
back. But that's
trumble over
part
those
of being
words.
on the hot seat.
Yeah, man.
You got to get your shit together, guys.
I know. Should have put the Spurs. And he said that a million times. He's like, I should have put the Spurs. He would have won 4-0.
If Joe Burrow would have done that, you would have been all on his ass about it. So,
So Kyle
Hold
Kerms
yourself
on
to the
fire.
same
Go check
standard.
out kylekerms.com. If you're not a VIP, become a VIP. Also check out his YouTube channel, which can be found on this channel, which also, if you're not subscribed to this channel, be sure to do that and like the video, or we'll send Ashley after you.
Yeah, Scoop said he's 6-1 last week, but nobody would know because he doesn't post his picks or talk about him on the podcast.
He just gets timid when it comes to that. Unless he's gonna say right now. He's just like, well, listen to cross court cast. And then he would put all his bets in there.
So he should be doing that.
He should be doing that.
100% should be doing
Make
that.
a graphic or 2 or 3 or 4. Do the Gooch every morning. So thank you guys for watching us today on a football Monday. Super Bowl is over. The offseason is here. So for Sturch and Gooch, it's time to brainstorm some content because we're gonna load it all up in the offseason.
He's gonna quit Chop Sports. I think it's over.
That's
Football
it.
season's over. I'll
Done.
see you guys in September.
I'm
gonna
sticking
take
around,
my
folks.
hiatus.
I'm sticking around.
It feels like a Monday today,
It does feel like
right? It doesn't feel like I don't feel great. Football season is over.
It's
I'm
depressing.
starving.
Mm,
I'm hungry too.
Yes.
But yeah, very depressing stuff. But we'll be back. Don't worry. We'll be back every day, 11 o'clock. Tell your friends, subscribe to the channel, do all that stuff, like the video, subscribe to the podcast network as well, because we got a lot of cool things coming up for that in that regard. So Sturch, Gooch, Dina, Ash, everybody in studio. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
Football season's fucking over.